I want to get it translated. Apparently, Al-Qurtubi, apparently in one of his tafsirs, he points out one of the verses in the Quran and he gives justification to certain scholars, including Al-Shafi, the founder, the Imam Shafi, that he believed that you could lawfully have sex with your sister if your sister was produced through unlawful marriage. And I find that interesting. I don't know. But I take it you would probably reject that.
And if Qurtubi is in front of me, or even any scholar, I ask them where he get that idea from. Sure. Imam Shafi. Where Imam Shafi get the idea from? Because our ultimate criteria is God and His Messenger. Because we believe Messenger make no mistake in the religion. He can make mistake in the worldly life, we have the hadith about that. But in the religion, Prophet is inspired by God. The scholars are not. And even Imam Malik says that, you must have heard Imam Malik says that, anyone you can disagree with, but you cannot disagree with the Prophet. You're pointing to the
right. But there's a problem with that though, because when you want the context of Muhammad and what he did, what he said, what he thought, how he behaved, you go to the hadith and you go to the tafsir.
No, I don't go to the tafsir. As long as it agree with the Quran and Sunnah, then I follow the tafsir.
Okay,
I do not follow tafsir as a whole.
Okay, that's fine. But if it agrees with it, you will follow it though, because that's how you understand the context.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it's better than nothing. If you want to know what someone said or someone did, you know, reading about people who claim to have known these things is a good start, right? But my point is this, is that when you go into this, you get tied up in a web, because all of a sudden you're committed to these things that these people are telling you are authentic. You are committing yourself to the science of the Islam. You are committing yourself to the Kalam, the Islamic sciences.
No, I'm not.
Well, I think as a Muslim you would be, but I think you don't follow that.
No.
So I think Muslims.
I am not blind follower of anyone. I am a blind follower of God and His Messenger. Right. Yes, I can say that.
Aren't you cherry picking the bits you want?
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I am.
And how do you know you're picking the cherries?
I tell you why. I'm cherry picking the truth from the falsehood. I'm rejecting the falsehood and I'm picking the truth.
Who tells you what is false and what is true? Your feelings?
You're
going by your feeling.
No. Reason, logic.
Okay, so he
uses
his reason to do that, which I think is better. Like, I'm not going to lie, I appreciate
I am open to be corrected, and I talk to my Muslim brothers as well many times. I'm open to be corrected.
I appreciate your perspective because it's refreshing to see reason in an Islamic view, because there are people here who don't agree with that. Like Shamsi as well.
Yeah, they will call me heretic. I heard them many times. I'll give you one example. Many Muslims say Bukhari Muslim, you can't reject it at all.
Exactly.
I bring 3 hadiths to them. What age was Prophet Muhammad when he died? And there are 3 authentic hadiths. One say he was 65, one say he was 63, and the other one he says it's like 60.
Wait, who?
Muhammad when he died. So are they all can be right? Of course not. So they're all authentic, Muslim and Bukhari. So point here is, why are you following that blindly when you can see clear contradiction? So that's
if
what
they're all in a different age, how can you trust any of them?
Sorry?
If they're all different, how can you trust any of them?
No. Then you say there are categories of hadith, mutawatir hadith, coming from at least 4 companions. If 4 companions saying the same thing, that becomes stronger. But if one companion saying something, then it's not that strong. Then we need to critically analyze the hadith.
I understand the reasoning to that. The problem that you're going to find is you are now basically going to put yourself and your standard above the standard of Bukhari and the standard of Imam Muslim. And he says I'm fine with that.
I'm going to answer my God, not anybody. When my God asks me, I give you brain, knowledge, reason, and rationalize things. Why are you following one person's scholar blindly? And this is why I'm answerable, and I'm open to be corrected.
That's good. I would encourage you to follow that, because I think it will lead you to Jesus. If you follow truth, that's where it'll lead you. Because there are things, even if you took the extreme heretical position and you were Quran only.
I'm not Quran only.
I know. I'm saying if you went there,
I'm Quran and Sunnah.
I understand that, but I'm saying even if you did go there, you would still have issues in the Quran that I think are evidently false. Because
there is no issue in the Quran at all.
Shall we talk about that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the first one I want to come to is... Okay, so there are moral problems, but we've done that before, so let's not talk about those ones. So if you talk about Surah 54... Wait, hold on. Actually, that's a good point. I guess you would deny that Surah 54, Ayah 1 to 2 is about the moon splitting. What do you think? Would you say that?
No, there's a mutawatir hadith about that. There are 3 or 4 companions say there's a mutawatir hadith. But if not mutawatir, 3 at least. So it's called mashhur, sahih mashhur, akhbari ahad mashhur. Maybe it's 3, maybe not 4. But there are more companions saying that they saw the moon split.
Well, first of all, I think that standard you set for that, I think you're rejecting other situations. But just going with this, the hadith that I've read gives accounts of exactly how the moon did split.
Okay.
And then there are some that say one half of the moon went behind the mountain, and one half of the moon came in front of the mountain. Have you seen those?
There's a hadith says that mountain was in the middle, the moon was split, the two halves were both sides of the mountain.
So you understand, first of all, that that's not possible. Because if the moon was that close to you, it would destroy the Earth.
No, it's not moon close. You are close to the mountain, and moon is right on top, and mountain will be like that, and you see the moon split like that. If you are, for example, moon can be behind that tree. If I'm standing right here, and moon is there,
but if the moon split, half the moon is in front of the tree, what does that mean?
Not in front.
I think there is
They say both sides of the mountain. That's what I say. They didn't say in front, of course.
I think I have.
Okay, show me. And that would be totally illogical, obviously.
So would you reject it then?
Of course I would reject it. It's on the logic and rational reason.
Yeah,
How can moon be in front of the mountain?
So this is interesting,
I don't think any of these say that.
Okay, we'll check that. But what's interesting is, when I mentioned it, yes, and it is correct because mutawatir, it has a generation, it's sound hadith. But then when I said, but if it didn't make sense, and you went, oh, I'll immediately
You know what mutawatir means?
Yes, it means it's confirmed by multiple. No, it doesn't mean four.
Yes.
No, it doesn't
mean four.
I checked this out. Mutawatir is dependent on scholarly opinion.
Minimum four.
No, it doesn't mean that.
It does.
No, mutawatir just means many.
Minimum four, that's the criteria.
It does not mean that.
You don't know.
So I was going to say,
read the hadith,
just for anyone,
read the books of hadith, Ibn Salah.
Google it.
I've looked at Islamic resources.
I'm telling you on camera right now, mutawatir hadith mean minimum four.
Okay.
Then less than. If it's three, they call akhbar ahad mashhur. If it's two, it's called aziz. And if one is called gharib. This is the criteria muhaddis made. So what you're saying is mutawatir is less than four. Is not right.
Let the camera know that people decide.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that there is no actual standard of what mutawatir is. Basically, it can mean a multiple different things. You can say it's minimum 4, minimum 5, 6, 10. It totally depends on who you ask. The problem with it, though, is that if you go too high, you end up saying that you have a higher standard than Bukhari and Imam Muslim did. And most Muslims won't accept that.
How that is?
Because Bukhari didn't have this idea that you need at least 10.
The Bukhari is not mentioning what is mutawatir, was not mutawatir.
No,
I'm saying the scholars of hadith mentioning.
Bukhari is hadith is sahih, yes? So he had his own standard as to what is authentic hadith. And he had his own criteria. What I'm saying though is that as a Muslim, if you go, no, I only accept hadith that has this many people, you're now giving yourself a standard higher than even Bukhari did.
Chris, I think
Bukhari is considered to be the most authentic.
Chris, I think you're confusing sahih and mutawatir.
No, sahih just means
it can say sahih
mutawatir
if
is
it's
a
one
type of hadith which means multiple narrations. Multiple people were saying this.
Multiple people saying the same
but
thing.
It doesn't have a number. It's not as if it has to be
Yes, it has a number.
No, it's debated among scholars.
Scholars like Sayyuti, scholars like Ibn Salah, they mention what mutawatir is, and they say it has to be come from minimum 4 people.
I promise you there is a different scholarly opinion of how many mutawatir is. There is no standard. It has to be exactly. Will I be able to find scholars who will say it's something other than 4?
Yes, I think I can. I will look. There's a book here, but I have to find it. But anyway, make your point. Meanwhile, I try to look.
You kind of conceded it when you said yes, there are other scholars who will say it's something.
No, your point was chapter 54.
Oh, okay. Regarding the splitting of the moon.
Yeah.
So you do think there was a splitting of the moon, despite the fact that scientifically speaking that would be impossible, despite the fact that the entire world would have witnessed such events.
If God wanted to do it, God can do it. It's scientifically impossible that Moses split the sea. Scientifically impossible.
Yeah, but that was localized. That was localized. When Moses split the sea, that was a localized miracle.
Yeah,
and when he flooded the earth, that would have been and every ancient civilization.
This is end of the world.
If God can do that, can split the sea by just putting the staff in, it doesn't make any sense.
Who did he do it for?
Scientifically impossible, even if it's localized.
Who did he do it for? Huh? Who did he split the sea for?
For Moses and his people.
Okay, that's fine. Who did he split the moon for?
To show the people what they asked for a miracle for his messenger.
So first of all, everyone would have seen that, you're aware of it. The moon split, everyone would have seen it. They would have heard it.
Whoever would have seen it.
Right, so first of all, there is no worldwide account of the moon splitting.
Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be.
Okay, so that's a sign it didn't happen.
Doesn't have to be.
Okay, so Muhammad did, Allah gave Muhammad the power to perform a miracle, which only very specific people saw.
Those people who are asking, Allah make them see. Allah make them see.
So he deceived everyone else.
Not deceive. How that deceive?
Because if you tear the moon in half, everyone will hear it and see it.
Not necessarily.
Even if God doesn't
It is possible the other regions where people could have seen they are by clouds are in front of them. It's possible if God doesn't want them to see it, God can do it. It's God.
Is there any record of that though? There's no record.
If
NASA has been asked about it.
if they see it, then it will be written in the record. Those who are Arab pagans, they saw it. They say, well, they call him a magician. Ask yourself why Quran is saying that those people are calling Prophet a magician again and again. You are a magician. Why they were calling him a magician? Would you call somebody a magician while he's doing nothing? So he must be doing a lot of miracles. They're calling him a magician.
But the Quran also says repeatedly that Muhammad is just a simple messenger. He is not here to do.
No. In the reason that he is not manager over you to pull you towards the religion. He cannot force you. What he came as a messenger just to give the message. Because Muhammad was very sad. People are not accepting his faith for many years. Allah said, you are just a messenger. It's not your responsibility to pull people to religion. I will give hidayah if I want to. So you are just a messenger. So Allah is just, in that sense, Allah is saying that. So that doesn't mean he can't do
why did
miracles.
Muhammad then wage war with certain tribes in Arabia if it was just his responsibility to tell them the message?
Because he has to, when he has his own state, then his state is in danger of attack by outsiders. So when the outsiders are attacking, his duty to defend his people, so he fight back.
How much of Saudi
Like David fight back.
Okay, that's fine.
Like Moses fight, like Joshua fight.
Absolutely agree. I'm not sorry. How much of Saudi Arabia was under the control of the caliphate after Muhammad died in 680?
After Muhammad died?
Yeah.
In the time of caliphate?
Yeah. Actually, I think to be fair, it might have been.
I think all of Arabia probably in the time of Muhammad.
Right. So how is that defensive then? You can't conquer all of the Saudi Arabian Venezuela and say it's defensively done.
India was under Muslim rule for many centuries, yeah?
Parts of it. India.
All India.
All of it.
But there are still rebels who will keep fighting.
But there's also Hindus in India, right?
Yeah. But the whole India was under Muslim rule. Yeah, there are some princely states, they were not. So when Saudi Arabia all under Muhammad Sallallahu, there are always going to be rebels who's going to raise up and fight against you, and Jews as well. And Jews,
I feel like the British Empire should have used the same thing. Oh yeah, there were rebels, like Canada, rebels,
and they did.
Australia,
and they did.
4th of July, mate. We could have kept the team. We could have kept the team.
British
Yeah, but
Empire
my point is
very
that's not their
cruelly
justification
killed a lot
for
of
going
Indians
there. They didn't go there because there were some rebels. They went there because
Give
they
me
were
an
actually
example. Give
colonizing
me an
the area.
example. Which war are you talking about? The Muhammad done unjustly. By the way, we are wearing away a lot of topics here, covering a lot of topics. You wanted to ask me about chapter 54. Now you're going all over the place. I can do that to your Bible as well, but you would not like that. I mean, I can ask you some
that's
questions
fine.
as well.
We can absolutely. The reason why there's a distinction here is because the Christian belief is not the same as the Islamic belief. You believe that the Quran.
We know that it's not the same.
Is the
You don't
Quran
believe in the
created
same
or
God.
uncreated? That's fine. That's true. Is the Quran created or uncreated? The Quran, the word of Allah, is it created or uncreated?
Quran has a beginning.
So it's
But
created.
it's the word of God. Word of God is not created, but Quran has a beginning. Because Quran means recitation.
That's fine. Okay,
Something
but the word of Allah is
recite.
uncreated. The word of Allah is uncreated.
Word of Allah comes from God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself.
Okay, it's an attribute of Allah.
There was a time.
That's not normal for
There was a time.
Yeah, I know.
There was a time and place when Allah uttered the Quran or recite the Quran or speak the Quran.
But it's not eternal.
Of course, Quran is not eternal in that sense. Look, the eternal has two meanings. One eternal applies only on God, has no beginning, no end. That doesn't apply on anything else.
Yeah, but it has a beginning and an end.
Quran does have a beginning.
Eternal.
Quran does have a beginning, but no end. In that sense, it is eternal. Like our souls are eternal. We are created at one time, but we never be distinguished. We never be disappear. Our souls are eternal. So in that sense, Quran is eternal. But not Quran. Quran does has a beginning, and this is not a new idea. This
I know
idea
this-
just
yeah.
Mutazilites believe that.
There are Muslims who believe that, but it's not what I understand to be Orthodox Sunni Islam.
There was in the beginning only God, nothing else. God. No Quran, no Torah, no Zabur, nothing.
But he did have
Only
his
God.
word. He did have his word, the word of Allah.
Words are when you speak, isn't it?
So that wasn't there.
No, the Quran wasn't there. No. What do you mean by Allah's word? When Allah's words are when they are spoken.
So wait. Okay,
Are you telling me Allah is reciting the Quran from the beginning?
What I'm getting at here is I was going to talk about how, because this was meant to be a quick point, that the Quran is meant to be uncorruptible because it's the word of Allah.
Uncorruptible, yes.
But you're saying no, it was created at some point.
No, but something created doesn't mean corruptible.
Right.
Allah revealed the Quran, Allah is defending
Okay,
it.
but my point.
And no one can corrupt the Quran.
Okay, so the Quran is incorruptible. It is
Incorruptible, yes.
directly from God and cannot be changed.
It cannot be changed.
But it does have a beginning. Okay, fine. What I'm saying is we don't have that same view. Right. So when you talk about contradictions and issues or whatever, like 40,000 instead of 4,000 or whatever, that's not a major issue for
the
us.
Bible.
Yeah, in the Bible.
I didn't mention that, did I?
No, I'm just saying it's an example, right? I'm just saying that to us is not a big thing. We've known this for 300 years at the very minimum. Isaac Newton used to know this. You know how 1 John 5:7? You know that? Yeah. Isaac Newton wrote about that. That's an interesting thing, right?
So does the golden rule of Jesus. Do unto others as you do, you want them to do to you. Socrates has said that. Buddha has said that. Confucius has said that before Jesus. So maybe it's a copy from them as well.
Truth can be held by anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But ultimately it resides in God, and we believe that God is Jesus Christ. Right?
No, we don't believe
I
that.
know you don't. But my point is this: is that you have the standard of the Quran, or at least Sunni Muslims do, that it cannot be changed at all. We know historically that's not true. Historically, you started this conversation by talking about Ubay ibn Ka'b, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. They had different versions. In fact, Ibn Sayyid, I can't remember his name, but there was another person who was called.
No, you said a different version. Can you prove that? Where you get that idea from?
From Muslim scholars.
Not the whole Quran and Sunnah.
No, from Tafsir. Your own
There's
histories
no
of
Sayyid
Islam.
says that. There's no Sayyid says that.
There is hadith that talks about how there was confusion and argument over what the Quran was.
Not about Ubay bin Ka'b and Abdullah bin Mas'ud.
It doesn't name them specifically, but it talks about issues from
It's not in
Sham and
Sahih
Iraq.
hadith.
Sham and Iraq. Who was in Sham and Iraq? Well, in Iraq it would have been Ubay ibn Ka'b, and in Sham I believe it may be Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, it may be the way around.
So Sayyid is saying Ubay bin Ka'b has.
It doesn't name them. It doesn't name them.
So why are you mentioning it then?
Because we know Tafsir explains to give context of what's going on. So now you have.
Okay, no. What Sayyid says that the Quran has different versions. Sayyid says.
Okay, let me find it for you. Okay, I'll find
Because
that.
when you talk to me, I want to see authentic things
Yes,
in the
it's
Quran.
absolutely authentic.
Authentic.
Only
I'm
the
not going
most
to go about the
authentic
weak, about the what scholars are saying. That I don't follow scholars because scholars say many different things. So when you talk about something to prove, it has to come from authentic, something authentic. Evidence has to be there. If I say something about Gospel of Thomas, he says Jesus says something. He says that's apocryphal. You can't mention Gospel of Thomas. You can't mention other books.
Yeah, but
So
we can date it. We can prove.
no, I agree, but I can't quote that. Why? Because you don't uphold that. Same way we Muslims that do not uphold scholars as gods or messengers. They are not inspired by God. They are not infallible.
Okay, so let me open this in Sunnah.com. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. Let me show it to you. This is Sahih al-Bukhari 4987.
Tied up.
Okay.
Arabic's there on the thing. So just read this out. Okay, lots of names. Hudayfa bin al-Yaman came to Uthman at the time the people of Sham and the people of Iraq were waging war to conquer Armenia and Abijaya. Forget
You were talking about this. I know you're talking about when he said compile the Quran.
Right, so you know about this.
Yeah.
Right, so does it not say here, Hudayfa was afraid of the people of Sham and Iraq, differences in the recitation of the Quran.
Right.
Oh, and then he said to Uthman, O chief of the believers, save this nation before they differ about the book, Quran, as the Jews and Christians did before. Right there.
So what's your point?
You said to me, is there anything here that shows that they were discussing what was in the Quran? Yes, evidently. They disagreed about it.
No, you say can Quran be corruptible?
But they literally think it's
Quran
different.
cannot be. If you think that somebody make a false copy of the Quran, the Quran become corruptible, then you're wrong. For example, I give you an example. If somebody make Mona Lisa, painting of Mona Lisa, he said no one can corrupt this Mona Lisa painting. But then there are many people are making copies of Mona Lisa. Many people. So that means does that Mona Lisa become corrupted? No, because I'm protecting which is the original. No one can corrupt the original. So Allah protected the original. Original does exist, but then there are people false or mistaken copies exist as well.
That's a really good analogy.
What Islam did, what Usman Razillah did, he destroyed all. He has any doubt. There are many correct as well, but he said burn all of them. Now we're going to make more copies from the original, which was written by Abu Bakr. So he said bring the original one, and we copy from that, and he copied from that. He had it sent to many regions. So what happened? As Allah promised, the original will be preserved, and no one can corrupt it, and that's how he burned all the other, and he keep the original one. So original one is saved as Allah wanted it.
Okay.
Allah promised.
Let me jump in here. Two mistakes here. First of all, he says that he got the copy from Abu Bakr's copy. He did use that copy, but he did not just use that copy. He also borrowed from other sources. Ubay ibn Ka'b was ordered to give him his codex. Abdullah ibn Masud the
Where are you
same.
getting that from?
From Tafsir.
Thank you very much. I'm quoting you the hadith, and you are quoting me the tafsir. Where do you get that from? Please,
Let me read this. Okay, this is an hadith.
When you talk to me, quote the hadith, say hadith, or Quran.
Let me read this. Okay, so same hadith. So Uthman sent a message to Hafsa saying, send us the manuscripts of the Quran so we may compile the Quranic materials in perfect copies and return the manuscripts to you. Hafsa sent it to Uthman. Uthman then ordered Zayd bin Thabit, Abdullah bin Az-Zubair, Zayd bin Al-As, and Abdullah Rahman bin Harith bin Hashim to rewrite the manuscripts in perfect copies. Uthman said to the three Qurayshi men, in case you disagree with Zayd bin Thabit, why is he disagreeing with him? I thought he just used his copy. On any point in the Quran, they write it in the dialect of Quraysh. The Quran was revealed in their tongue. So they didn't just use Abu Bakr's copy, they actually took many things, and then when they disagreed, they would default to using the Qurayshi tongue.
So he was giving them instruction in case if you have any disagreement. The point here, did they have any disagreement? Now you need to prove that they disagree with Zayd bin Thabit. That's as the Khalifa giving extra precaution in case if you disagree. Did they disagree? Can you prove that from the hadith?
Wait. We can prove it historically. Why? Because Abdullah ibn Masud's codex was long in use after he had died, and that was used up north. That was used in Sham. No, history. I'm quoting history. We know from a historical standard. This is why the Qur'an still has traces of Ibn Masud's reading.
Hear me out again. I believe Quran and Sunnah, Mutawatir Hadith cannot be wrong. One second. History can be wrong, tafsir can be wrong. And on that, you cannot build your argument on something we do not think infallible. We say Quran and Sunnah is infallible. Now prove me whatever point you could bring from Quran and Sunnah, not history, not tafsir, because many people disagree.
But you can't get out of this now. You can't go to the Quran and Sunnah because this very historical question is about which was the correct Quran to follow. So historically, there are Muslims who believed it was Abdullah ibn Masud's codex. There are historically Muslims who believed it was Ubay ibn Ka'b's codex after they were gone. Now, but I know he doesn't accept tafsir, but according to authentic tafsir, I think it's our history of Al-Tabari, it's recorded that Abdullah ibn Masud, first of all, he rejected, and this is in hadith, he rejected the idea that Zayd bin Thabit was more authoritative on the Quran was than he was. Why? Because again, according to authentic hadith, Abdullah ibn Masud was said to be one of the four master reciters of the Quran. He was given authority to teach, Abdullah ibn Masud was.
Fair enough, yeah.
So Abdullah ibn Masud, in another authentic hadith, I can find it.
History again, yeah?
No, hadith now. It's a sahih now. According to these hadith, I will bring it up as well. Abdullah ibn Masud says he is complaining that Uthman has not taken everything he writes, and he says that by the time he was, before...
I think it's better you bring it on because your word,
He says that before Zayd bin Thabit was even born, he had memorized over 70 surahs of the Quran. He was not in acceptance of what Uthman was doing by not taking his codex. And according to tafsir, this is the tafsir now, I know you don't accept it, Abdullah ibn Masud was brought to Medina to Uthman, and Uthman had him beaten. According to tafsir. According to tafsir. I believe this is history of Al-Tabari.
My point is this. When Allah says my point is Allah says in the Quran, Allah has revealed the zikr and He will protect it. Then Allah says nothing can enter from it, from behind it, from in front of it. When Allah is guaranteeing us in the Quran, nothing can be corrupted, then you bringing history and the scholar. So who are going to follow? The Quran or the history and the scholar? It's just a common sense. If any history and scholar goes against the Quran, I throw them in the gutter, those history and scholars. So I follow the Quran, so please don't.
Which Quran are you following?
Which Quran?
Yes.
At the moment.
Are you following a Quran? You're following Hafs Quran. Okay. There are Muslims that don't read Hafs Quran. There are Muslims that read a different Quran, which Welsh Quran.
Do you know anybody who's
Yes, people in Morocco, for example.
Have you met them personally?
No, but I've looked it up and I found people who do.
So you find in the internet that people are following
Yes. There is a website. I've done a video on it. Crystal Speaker's Corner. You can find the video there. Where I actually go on an Islamic website that distributes Qurans, and I believe it's from the Dar es Salaam publisher. And they actually produce these different Quran. They actually produce the Hafs Quran, who got his from Hashim. the Wash Quran, the Al-Dawli Quran, they publish them. You can buy them.
There's only one
My friend,
Quran.
look at my,
The only
my
Quran
channel.
is
I've done a video on
their
it.
book.
I've done a video on it.
Everyone knows that there's only one.
Look, you're lying to yourself.
I know that.
I've never
I
seen
can
any
show
other
you the link. I can give you and I can show you these Qurans.
Yeah, but it's not famous. Maybe some
Actually,
people
let me
try to
do it
make
now. Let me do it now. Let me get my app.
As I said, I believe.
Maybe some people that try to make it, but the main one, everyone knows.
Scholars that believe this. Let me show you. Let me show you.
As I said,
This is the British translation of the 10 Qira'at of the Quran. Now this is a book.
Translation mean different.
It's taken from Arabic and translated into English, but translated different Qira'at.
Yeah, they can translate in different ways. Yes.
The Qira'at is Arabic, you understand?
Yes.
So there are different versions of, okay then. So we can go
About
into
the main version of the book.
let me show you this as well. I don't know if you remember, this is the British translation of the 10 Qira'at of the Noble Quran. He goes through and he points out all the different variants in the Qira'at. So wherever it's read, if you tap it, he'll tell you here. All except for Asim, Al-Qasai, Yaqub and Caliph, in one of his narrations read it as King of the Day of Recompense.
Where you get that
Instead
from?
of
What is it?
Master of the Day of Recompense.
what app is this?
This is, let me show you. It's
Afghanistan, but what trying to
the Bridges translation of the 10 Qira'at of the Noble Quran. This is from the Bridges Foundation, an Islamic dawah group that are in Egypt and Cairo. And they do dawah in America.
Buri, verse,
Yes, all those. Yes.
different.
And he has translated them into English, and whenever they differ according to the Qira'at, he tells you, and you can find it out for yourself. He will show you. So I'm not making this up.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Good, okay.
There are different qira'ats. I'm not disagreeing.
Do the Qira'at sometimes have difference in meaning?
Yeah?
Do the
Yes,
Qira'at?
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which of those meanings do you think goes back to Muhammad?
Well, now my answer is this.
Okay.
I follow Hafs Quran,
Okay.
which is you also believe,
Yep.
followed by 95 to 97% of the Muslim world.
Today, yes.
Yeah, Muslim world.
Yeah.
So I follow Hafs Quran.
Okay.
And I'm saying this, I said many times. Sometimes Muslims disagree. Any copy of the Quran disagree with Hafs, I reject it.
On what basis? On what basis?
On the basis, for example, if we go back to the history, Hafs is the person who was a student of Asim. Asim was a student of Abdul Rahman al-Salami. Abdul Rahman al-Salami was a student of Abdullah bin Masud. Abdullah bin Masud
You were
was
student of Abdullah ibn Masud, the one who
Abdullah
went
bin
into the
Masud
Quran.
and Hazrat Ali both. Abdul Rahman al-Salami. Let me make my point. So that chain goes back to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam straight, yeah? There's no doubt about that.
No, the doubt is straight there. You've just totally missed it.
No,
The doubt is Abdullah ibn Masud, who didn't agree with what
But you say that's history.
Yeah, and you've just quoted the Hafs Quran and said it went back to Abdullah ibn Masud.
No, we believe Abdullah bin Masud. You have to prove
But
that
Abdullah
Abdullah bin Masud Quran was different.
We know that because the Qira'at is different.
Show me.
I
Show me
can
where
show
they
you it
prove
right now.
that Abdullah bin Masud.
What is your point now?
No, you show me Abdullah bin Masud's Qira'at was different. You show me. You have to prove it.
Here it shows all the different Qira'at.
No, you show me from the Hadith.
I'm showing you from the Qira'at.
Where do you get that from?
From Muslim publications of the Quran.
No, so Abdullah bin Masud, there's no Hadith says that Abdullah bin Masud Qira'at was different. Is there any Hadith?
There are Qira'at that find their way to
My question is very simple. Is any Sahih Hadith says that Abdullah bin Masud Qira'at was different?
History says it was.
Not Hadith. That's it. Your argument does not stand in my world because I'm saying history can be right and history can be wrong. What I'm saying, Sahih Hadith and the Quran, that's our criteria, not the history. History disagree many times. How many times I have to repeat this? So if you cannot prove from Sahih Hadith that Abdullah bin Masud Qira'at is different, then your argument is lame. I'm sorry to say that. So when we say Hafs Quran, we follow Hafs so much because the chain goes back to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam directly from Abdul Rahman al-Salami.
All of them claim to go back to Muhammad, not just Hafs.
Which other Qira'at goes? And don't forget,
All of them do.
Don't forget one thing. This other Qira'at only exists in North Africa. Nowhere else in the world. Only North Africa.
No.
11 countries of North Africa. That's where the other Qira'at exists. Hafs exists worldwide, all over the world. When we say Allah, as Allah promised, He preserved the original Quran to all over the world. The falsehood that cannot spread in the world. Even where North Africa, where the other recitations are, Hafs is also in Morocco. Hafs is also
Now it is, yeah, now it is. You go back in history, there were many disagreements, and that's why they were standardized. Why is it that the Qira'at became an accepted form of Islam? Why was the Qira'at accepted into the deen? Why? Was it not because of Ibn Mujahid?
Because there is Hadith. There's a hadith. Hadith talk about the Qur'an.
Right, they do. So the hadith, do you find it acceptable?
Actually, he's talking about haruf, not Qur'an. Haruf.
Okay, here's a question.
7 haruf.
Where is the aruf today?
Exactly. No, let me get back to the hadith. Do you know that the hadith has hidden defects? And I can prove it to you.
My friend, you can show me them.
There's a sahih and the misunderstanding spread from that hadith. And if you read closely that hadith about Abu Bakr, Umar and Hisham when they were reciting the Quran. From that hadith, everybody says, oh, there has to be 7 Quran. But that hadith has hidden defects in that.
So do you believe there's aruf?
No, I don't believe there's 7 aruf. What Muhammad Sallallahu said, that there are different understandings of aruf. If you read the Quran book, I will suggest you read Dr. Shahzad Salih's book called the Quran, Critical Study of the Quran. He mentioned there are many historical scholars of the past, they have different understanding of 7 aruf mean. Some of them say, I'll give you one example. Some of them say 7 aruf mean there's 7 types of verses in the Quran. Quran, verses of the commandments, verses of do's, verses of don'ts. So aruf for some different people have different meaning. Now it become common, aruf means different recitations. So in the original, people don't think like that. And I believe that's what 7 aruf can mean, is 7 ways of verses. Like doing.
They are different.
No, they're not different. Meaning some are the commandments, some are to farz, what to do halal, some are haram. There are 7, I can't remember all. So that Quran has 7 different kind of verses to live your life. Do you get my point? That's why I understand what aruf is.
Okay.
Not different recitation.
That therefore doesn't give you any basis on which to justify the Quran. Because again, if you reject aruf and say, no, it was basically just one text.
I don't believe in 7 Qurans. Don't you understand? I don't believe in 7
You only believe in one.
There's only even Quran.
But every other one is affirmed to go back to Muhammad. It has the same chains. They all go back to Muhammad.
I say that's a misunderstanding of the scholars. Companions did not disagree.
Wait. You know the Hafs wasn't always the most popular Quran. There would have been points when there were other
Hafs
different...
was.
Not his
Yes, you know what's the original name of Hafs?
The Ottomans popularized the reading of
Do you know what's the original name of the Hafs? Qira'atul Amma, the common recitation. That was known for two. I can bring you the books, same book. It explains what companions and the students of the companions talking about. Once again, let me make a point. Qira'atul Amma for 200 years is known for Qira'atul Amma. After that, after the death of Hafs, then is known as Hafs Qira'at. The same Qira'at, the change to Hafs Qira'at. Do you get my point?
I think so.
So that was the original name.
You understand that Hafs was a person in history, and he came in, I believe, during the 700s. You understand Hafs?
150 years after the death of Muhammad. Yeah.
So you're telling me the only accepted form of the Quran is the Hafs Qira'at?
Because he's carried the original one.
Okay.
Qira'atul Amma.
So was Hafs reading before it? Was the Hafs reading before Hafs was around?
No, Hafs just carried on the same one. It's not his doing.
But anyone who was reciting something different, which is a lot of in the early time, people were following Ubay ibn Ka'b.
They are not right. No, but then again you're quoting history now.
Yeah, but my point is your whole argument depends on history. You've basically just went whatever Qira'at happened to be the dominant one today, fortunately that happened to be the correct one.
My argument is Quran and Sunnah. When the Quran say I preserved it, then history say it doesn't preserve it, which I'm going to follow. I'm going to follow Allah, the word of God, or word of some scholars or some historians.
Even with the Hafs reading, there were variants in the Hafs reading. And that's why in 1924 in Cairo and Egypt it was standardized.
They are not.
Because in Cairo and Egypt, there was at universities, there were students coming in supposedly with the Hafs reading, and there were variants. So they standardized the Hafs.
Where you learn that from?
It's history, yeah.
No, who's quoting that? I like to see that. Even if that history, I like to see that as well.
Do you actually disagree with me?
I disagree that Hafs has variants. I disagree with that. I'm saying
so it's never standardized in Cairo in 1924.
What standardized means?
The Hafs reason. The Hafs reason.
No, it's right. I'm looking after it, don't worry.
Standardized doesn't mean that they corrected the correct Quran. That means this is only copy we follow. We only follow the recitation of Hafs. And it's been standardized in Egypt. Then every other we're not going to follow, we're going to follow Hafs. That means it's standardized. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist before like that.
So the Quran, the validity of it is totally dependent on the men that actually dictate which Quran to read.
No, this is a unanimous agreement.
It's not unanimous. If it was unanimous, the whole world would only be.
If I say unanimous, that means high majority, big majority. That means like 95% of the world.
So you accept the Quran, the Sunnah, and 1924 edition when they made that one?
Are you saying before 1924 Hafs doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying it was not as popular as it was today.
Ottomans follow Hafs.
Yeah, I know, Ottomans, they
Ottomans
favour the
lived for say
Hafs.
500-600 years.
But my point is, the earlier you go in history, the less popular Hafs was. And there was a point in time where Hafs didn't even exist. But you're just saying, well, before that, it was there somewhere.
Because Hafs, when he wasn't alive, how Hafs exists? Why? I'm saying they use same recitation, the common recitation used to call. Later on, it's known and Hafs. And that's the people saying that who spent 20 years of learning the history of the Quran, like Dr. Shahzad Salim in his book. If you want to talk about it, next we can talk about this because I don't have all the evidence with me right now. And I'll show you which tabi, you know tabi? Tabi means the follower of the tabi, yeah. And Abdul Rahman al-Sulami was tabi. He was a student of Abdullah bin Masud and Hazrat Ali. He's saying in the time of the companions, there's only one Qiraatul Amma. Everybody followed one recitation. That's what he's saying. The tabi is saying that. Abdul Rahman, who's a teacher of Asim, and Asim is a teacher of Hafs. So he's saying that.
If they were always reciting the same thing, there would never be these different.
That's what he's saying. Abdul Rahman al-Sulami is saying that.
No. But again,
I'll show you.
I quoted you Sahih Hadith, where they are talking about disagreements about what the Quran is. And they are having to come together, go through a process that involves burning Quranic manuscripts to standardize the text.
Okay, listen, you don't have all those tools right now as well, and neither do I.
Do you accept that?
You want to talk about this topic next week? I'm willing to talk about that. And I'll bring my proof and you bring your proof. We'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll follow it. No worries.
Do you want to do a wrap up?
No, I'm not good at it. Yeah, you guys. No worries.
I was going to say how wrong it is.
What's happening?
I'm just trying to find out actually which one is the wrong one.
The thing that's interesting about Abbas is he has a very unique and very non-orthodox view of Islam. What you heard today was not the standard Islamic narrative, but actually kind of a condemnation of it, a rejection of it. And the reason why is because he knows the standard Islamic narrative has lots of holes in it. So how does he get around them? He denies hadith, step one. He denies tafsir, step two. If he has to, he'll deny history. And that's really sad. Like the fact that he has to go to that kind of level of denial to maintain his position. I wish he chose the better position to come to Jesus Christ. Because I like the guy. I think he's a decent guy. He's always treated me well, never yelled or anything like that. And I think hopefully, Lord willing, one day in his life he'll understand that he's got this whole Islam thing wrong. He's abandoned Orthodox Islam. It's time to abandon Islam. There is a better person by far than Muhammad. It's Jesus Christ. Come to Jesus Christ.